Hi, guys. I'm Dr. Jenny White, a dentist in Sarasota, Florida, and her fearless patient, Susan, with our podcast, Open Wide, Unfiltered Opinions between a dentist and her patient. Over the past 25 years or so, I've been sitting in a little room talking to myself all day, and I've gained a lot of wisdom through that process, which I want to share with you. We hope our podcast casts optimism and fearlessness to you so you can rise to the top, stay at the top, and dream bigger than you've ever imagined. So on today's podcast, the soup du jour is...
I have confidence in sunshine. I have confidence in rain. I have confidence that spring will come again. Besides which you see, I have confidence in me.
The topic of the day is confidence. Susan, I feel confident. Wasn't there a deodorant commercial that said something like, if you use it, it'll give you confidence?
They all say that.
Who knew the armpits was linked to confidence? Anyway, so I went to Perplexity, my little AI search engine, and confidence, according to Perplexity, refers to a feeling of self-assurance or belief in one's abilities, qualities, and judgment. It's about trusting yourself and your capabilities to handle situations or challenges. Confidence can manifest as certainty in your knowledge, comfort in social situations, or a belief in your ability to accomplish goals. So what I hear in that is a lot of my knowledge, my comfort level, my beliefs. And I think it takes a long time to cultivate that, to know what you believe, to have knowledge about stuff and to get comfortable with stuff. So I don't know. What do you think, Susan?
Yeah, I think there's no question about it that experience gets you more confident. I was having a discussion with a girlfriend of mine the other day whose 28-year-old is taking on a new job. And this 28-year-old was the top of her class of a very high prestigious college, university. And So she's a real gift to the company that she's going to work for, but she's, as 28-year-olds are, very nervous about the new job and are they going to like me and am I going to do a good job, blah, 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 blah. And my friend and I, who met when we were that same age as colleagues years and years ago, remembered when we felt the same way at that age. But now we're like, who gives a damn? Like, I get damn lucky to have me. And they are damn lucky to have this girl too. So that's the difference between a 28-year-old and the experience that you have as you grow older, that you just grow more confident in your abilities, I think.
And as you look back on your life, I'm imagining that right now we say we're confident. Give us 30 more years and we look back on us at our ages now and we'll be like, oh, we could have been so much more confident. I think
suppose.
It just grows
with every decade,
with age.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, it's sort of cultivated. I don't think you're born with it. It's not, I don't think it's arrogant to say that you just kind of, you grow and you get more confident. So yeah, I love this topic because I want to be, I'd like to be more confident. I'm confident in certain areas of my life and not in others. So I'm always up for trying to get a little more confident if I need to. What about you, Susan? Are you pretty confident across the board, personally, professionally?
Well, I think I am now, of course. Yeah. And to be honest, I think it comes from developing your character, or rather knowing your character, knowing your moral compass, knowing your value system. And once you know what you will and will not tolerate as it relates to your value system, then you become very confident that you can take on anything in the world and discard anything that doesn't work for you. So I think that's more for me what it is. It's about your character and your internal value system.
I agree with that 1,000%. And the other thing I would add to it is I build confidence when I do things that are uncomfortable for myself. So, and I do them over and over. I make myself do it. And we'll get into some personal examples later on, but like, for instance, an easy one, cold plunge in the morning. I did not want to do a cold plunge. I don't want to submerge myself into a cold vat of ice water.
Do you do that every morning?
I do. But I have an unheated pool, so it's not necessarily a cold plunge, but I jump into that pool every morning. I make myself do it. And initially it was, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, as I'm walking up to the edge. And now it's, bring it on, pool. What you got for me today? Boom. Like I've just trained myself and I've developed confidence by doing things that are
Mm,
not comfortable
yeah,
for me.
fair enough.
Yeah. So I think that's a part of it too. I just think as you grow old, one of the top 5 perks is confidence. And it's sort of like a buy one, get one with aging. You're gonna get more confident.
Yeah. And I think there's certain techniques that you can use to develop confidence at any age. Let me read some of them. The first is you got to stop comparing yourself to others.
Oh.
Remember in our early careers, we did that a lot. Like, oh my God, am I, as making as much money as her? Did I buy my house for? I mean, it's all this stuff you're comparing. And I think it's going to be harder for people these days, particularly girls who do more of that comparison, I think, than boys do, because of all social media, right? So you got Instagram and somebody looks fabulous and it's you don't take into consideration that it's filters and it's sponsorships and
And it's a green screen behind
it's
them.
a green
They're
screen.
not
No,
in
no, that's
Ibiza.
exactly
It's a green
right.
screen.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. But you still feel like, oh my God, she's doing more, better, she's more beautiful, whatever than I am. And I think so. You got to stop comparing yourself to others. That's the first step in developing confidence, I think.
I just wondering too, this is a side note, what can people do to get themselves unhooked from social media? I personally, I never hooked into it when it came out. I don't want to say I didn't care, but I probably didn't care. I didn't care. So I didn't hook into it, but a lot of people are really hooked into it. And how do you care less about social media?
Well,
Any ideas?
that's a good question because, like you, I never really embraced it in a big way.
Yeah.
Sure, I have a Facebook account, but I rarely post now, and so I never, and I don't think I have an Instagram account. I didn't embrace it the way some people do, and so I don't know how to unplug from it. Except maybe it's the same as anything else. You just make a conscious decision not to do it anymore, not to care about it as much.
Hmm.
Maybe that's the way to unplug.
Yeah, I guess we need to definitely unplug more from social media in order to develop our confidence. I think that's just me. But the other thing that I thought about as I was thinking about today's podcast was I sat and I meditated, and I came up with forgiveness. In order for me to feel confident, say I'm around someone that's hurt me in the past, I am never going to feel confident around that person unless I have genuinely forgiven them. Not I call them and have a conversation with them, not they're going to agree with me and what I have to say. And I just have to forgive that person so that I can feel confident in the situation. What do you think, Susan?
Well, I think as we've talked about before in our podcast called Forgiveness, that's a very important part of developing character for yourself, right? You realize that what matters to me is more important than what matters to this other person. You can forgive them, but move on.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not like I'm not remembering what they did to me or the situation or whatnot, but I really need to develop my character more by forgiving the person, which will lead me to have more confidence. Because I know everyone, at least for me, I've been in awkward situations where I'm sort of dreading seeing somebody that I know may be there and they're there and I'm there and I just feel really awkward and I shrink in those situations. I find myself standing back towards the wall, not wanting to move across the room and socialize. And I sort of become a dead wallflower. So, yeah, I think forgiveness in a roundabout way plays a bit to do with your confidence.
Yeah, and I think another step would be to create boundaries, and this plays into something you were just saying. It's impossible to be confident when you feel like you have no control over how others see you or how others treat you. But when you create boundaries, that gives you the control that you are going to only go this far, and you're not going to step over the line, and they're not going to step over the line, and that gives you some guidance, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree. Boundaries. And it's funny because we tend to, in a couple of our podcasts, we've mentioned boundaries, we've mentioned confidence, we've mentioned forgiveness, we've mentioned these things, and they all seem to sort of gel together and apply to the topic du jour, which today is confidence. So it's interesting. I also feel like in order to be truly confident, I refer to it as having a soft heart. If you go into a situation and you're genuinely feeling benevolent, kind, caring, you want to hear more from the other person than you want to tell them. You want to be, there for someone. I feel like that is a form of confidence also. So making sure that we're centered and that we have a good, 2 feet on the ground and our head is in the right place. I don't feel confidence means going to the gym and picking up 50-pound dumbbells and pumping our biceps up and then hitting the shower and putting that shirt on and going in the room and, all puffed up. That could be part of it. But I also feel like being centered, being grounded, it just softens my heart and it allows me to what other people see as very confident.
Yeah, and finding in yourself the ability to say no. You know, I know that I went through a period of saying yes more than I should have to situations or people or what other people wanted,
Hmm.
and now I'm very comfortable with saying no. And that was developed over time, but I think that plays into this confidence discussion.
Yeah, saying no plays so much into everything. It plays into us being able to take care of ourselves emotionally and physically. It just I don't know. It's a super important one. The other thing that I think comes into play for me with confidence is how I talk to myself. So if I'm going to tell myself after going to a social gathering, Jenny, you're such an idiot. Why did you say that? Can you believe you said this to that one and then this and that? That's I need to say to myself, you know what, Jenny, you really did a great job last night. You showed up. You were super supportive. You There are different ways you can talk to yourself, and I feel like we have to be really nice to ourselves and compliment ourselves and take the little wins when they come. Nobody else is going to tell me that. I
Yeah.
have to tell me that. So take the little wins as they come, and that too makes you feel better about yourself, aka confidence.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. If you reframe your self-talk to things like, I can't handle this, to, yeah, I can do this, or at least I can try, right? That switches your mindset a little bit. Rather than I can't do anything right, go for I'll try better next time. I'll do a better job next time. Or like I hate public speaking, then you could say to yourself, well, I don't love public speaking, but I'm going to try it and see if I can develop it more as a strength than a weakness. So that's reframing the self-talk that you're talking about that's important.
And that probably plays into relationships that we have with other people, because the more we do that, the more we're building ourselves up, the more confidence we have, and we're not looking for somebody else to build us up or tell us we're great or give us accolades. We can actually try and take care of another person. And I feel like in a relationship, especially with my BHT Tom, yes, of course, there are times where I need his support and I want his positive affirmations. But for the most part, I feel lucky to be in a relationship with another person and I'm watching him grow as a soul or a being or whatever we are, little particles of sparkly dust, and myself also doing the same thing. So it allows a relationship, what Susan was just saying, it allows a relationship to flourish. And I know I'm taking a lot of tangents here, but I can't help it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I don't think it's just a relationship, romantic partner relationship, but it's every single relationship that you encounter. If you feel stronger about yourself, you have your moral character in place, you know who you are and what you will and will not tolerate, you come across as a confident person to everybody, not just in, personal relationships, but to everybody, I think.
Susan, I'm feeling so confident right now, but I feel like if we had a little liquid elixir, I would have a little bit more confidence. What do you
Okay.
have in store for us today?
Well, I have a drink called the Bold and Beautiful, which is kind of plays
Wasn't that an 80s
plays into our theme.
show or a 70s
It was.
show?
No, now that you say it, I just realized it was a soap opera.
Yes, it's
Was it the Bold and the Beautiful? It was something like that. All right, hang on, let me get it. Okay, so we're back with our drink of the podcast called the Bold and the Beautiful. All right, so let's cheers.
Cheers.
And then we'll take a sip. Oh my.
This is awesome.
You like it?
I love it. It's a dark brown, tannish looking liquid on ice in a cup.
All right, let me tell you what's in it. Tequila.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Don't you have a story about that? You can tell it at a later podcast. Tequila and then espresso. And you can buy this espresso already made up and so which is what I've done. I didn't like brew it this morning for you, Jenny, but espresso. And then chocolate liqueur. I use Mozart chocolate liqueur. And when I was mixing it all up this morning early, I tasted it and I thought it needed a little coconut. So I put a little coconut in there too. So it's called The Bold and the Beautiful for our confidence podcast.
I love it. I mean, I really do. So it's going to have the alcohol, which makes me tired, and it's going to have the espresso and the coffee, which is going to give me energy. So let's see how I
There's
do.
almost nothing that makes us beautiful. I don't know what
And then where's the beauty come from, Susan?
I guess once we get the tequila in us, we'll be like, woo!
Exactly. This is awesome. Thanks for making that. If I were to mix a drink in the morning, I would probably have to say, this needs a little oatmeal, or this needs a little bacon with 2 eggs over easy.
I know. It's a little weird. I have to say that.
So back to
our
confidence.
podcast,
Yeah. I want to give some examples from my life. I'm sure everybody's really interested in this, of confidence building, things that have happened to me along the way. So I basically live in my dental office. I don't literally, but figuratively I do. And I adore my patients. I have had very infrequent situations where I have to disagree with a specialist on what they're recommending for the patient, or treatment that's been completed by a specialist that the patient's still having an issue with, et cetera, et cetera. It could be financial, the specialist's office staff, the specialist's behavior, awkward situations in dentistry. And in the past, I would try to put these things off like for months. I just didn't want to deal with it. So I would work on my pile of papers on my desk and get down to that one where I needed to make a call, and I would try to avoid it. So I made a deal with myself long ago that anything that's uncomfortable has to be done right now, same day. Anything that makes me go, oh, I have to do it that day. And this has been a great little exercise for me, because doing it year after year after year, now I don't think twice about addressing anything for the benefit of my patients. And all the specialists know that I will go 1,000% to bat for my people. So for me, it's built my confidence. I don't feel less than the specialist. I don't feel like I don't know as much as they do. I want the best for my patients. It's worth the conversation. I have no problem making that phone call. Do you have an example, Susan, in your life of something that you've done, over the years, and now you don't even think twice about it, but it's a confidence builder?
Well, I probably, but I want to get back to something you just said, which is I like that you have developed that confidence, because what it does for your specialist is make you feel like you're part of the patient team.
Of course.
Right? It's not you against them, or they're thinking against your thinking. It's the two of you together are coming up with the exact right plan for your patient, which I think is great.
And it happens frequently where there'll be 2 or 3 specialists involved.
Yeah.
I have a couple cases right now where there are 3. And I have such great relationships with these people because of the communication. It's not necessarily my communication, our communication, that we are all in for making the best outcome for the patient that we can. And all this goes on behind the scenes. People don't know that this stuff is happening, but it does. It does, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, and I think as we all get older in business, we develop some confidence in delivering bad news, okay, like performance reviews. If somebody has a developmental opportunity, I love that word. We used to call it that in corporate, which was you're screwing up, but they call it developmental opportunities. So, or you have to fire somebody, or you have to have a very difficult conversation. You learn techniques to do that in business, and it's very important to be crisp and clear in those situations for sure. We were talking earlier about strategies to feel more confident. I mentioned a couple of them, which was stop comparing yourself to others, very important, and create boundaries to make sure that people don't step over your boundaries, and then reframe the negative self-talk, making yourself feel better by saying, yeah, okay, maybe I could have done better, but I will do better next time, that kind of thing. There's a couple more. One is take care of your body. We talk a lot about that in this podcast, because when you feel good about yourself, you're going to present as a more confident person to the world. We spoke at an earlier podcast with Dr. Winnie Lee, who is a cosmetic surgeon in town, and she commented about how she loves her work of making people feel good about themselves and how they present to the world, and that they come across then as more confident because they have taken the step to do whatever, so making sure that you take care of yourself, take care of your body is very important. And then we also talk a lot about this last one, which is spending time with positive people. If you surround yourself with folks who constantly lift you up, or are just more positive than negative, and are not sucking you down or pulling you down, you're going to be better off to
So-
find that community. Yeah.
So if you don't mind, I'm going to go back to the health, and then
Yeah.
I'm going to jump into the positive people.
Well, okay.
So on the topic of the health,
I'll just
as
keep
we're
drinking. Go
as
ahead.
we're drinking our alcoholic drink, your health is your wealth. So if you don't have it, it's a trickle down effect. So you've got to take care mentally, physically, spiritually. You got to do it. I don't care if it's reading a Bible verse a day. I don't care if it's taking the stairs instead of something else. I don't care. Just do one thing for yourself, for your health, honestly. I'm a huge health fanatic, advocate, proponent. So yeah, I'm agreeing with everything you said. Regarding being around people that are uplifting and positive, who you surround yourself with matters. I agree with that. When we were starting this podcast, I would mention to people, I didn't go do an advertising campaign. Actually, we've done zero advertising. And I would say, I'm starting a podcast. One person that I told this to now supplies a box of French pastries fresh every day for every podcast that we create, just out of the kindness of their heart. Another person told me, yeah, good luck, podcast. Yeah, good luck getting that. I tried that once. You can't really get legs with that. Another person texts me at 5 a.m. to say, hey, Dr. Jenny, your podcast, I can't find it. Where is it again? I'm needing to listen to it at 5 a.m. Who do you think I'm going to hang out with?
Yeah.
I'm going to hang out with the pastries and the podcast lover. And the middle one, neither here nor there. But I'm careful. I don't want just people blowing smoke up my skirt. Not that I wear skirts. I wear mainly pants. But I want to surround my people that uplift me. No matter what the situation is, if it's a podcast, if it's a triathlon, if it's Susan skiing, if it's me doing a cooking class, I want to be around people that are going to uplift me. So yeah, I agree on both of those fronts, Susan.
Okay, let me also add another one too, which is if you feel like you want some help, some professional help, feel very free to go and talk to a therapist. I think that people don't use therapists enough. And fortunately, the stigma has been lifted around, who goes to therapists, because now like everybody I know goes to therapists. It's so important to talk to other people and get techniques to help you gain your confidence back if you've lost it or you want to build it up a little bit. So feel very free, everyone, to do that too.
Yeah.
That's a alternative that you could take advantage of.
And it's so accessible now. I haven't done this betterhelp.com, but there is, you don't even have to leave your home and you can get a licensed certified therapist to talk to. I think it's 1-800-BetterHelp or betterhelp.com. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, therapy is easy. It's accessible. And I know, it's probably a little pricey or it's an add-on, in your life. But what's your mental health worth?
Yeah, right.
Like it's worth everything. So, I feel like I'm gaining so much knowledge, but there's a little tip of the day that Susan provides us with. And without it, I just don't feel complete. So, Susan,
All right.
help me complete myself over here.
All right. This is apropos of our topic, which is confidence. And these are called premium feminine balance gummies. And I just ordered these, so I don't actually know if they work or not. But they're supposed to make everything smell better and taste better because it tastes like pineapples. Here, I'll give you a gummy. And it tastes like everything tastes like pineapples, apparently. And, pineapple is the symbol of hospitality. So we're actually being hospitable by taking these.
So what does this have THC in it? Or
No,
is this...
I don't know what it has in it. Probably a look before it popped a couple in my mouth.
Susan just literally opened a pouch, shoved 2 of these in her mouth, and is currently chewing. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah, the letters are too small for me to read. But anyway,
okay, well, and what's it called again?
It's called, the name of the company that makes it is Vital Source. So Vital Source, if you're listening, you could be a sponsor. And underneath it says nutrition, although I'm not sure there's much nutrition. Premium Feminine Balance Gummies. And it revitalizes vaginal health.
Oh.
In 2 bites. So, there you go.
Well,
that'll boost your self-confidence.
We cover it all from head to toe, from teeth to gummies for the woo-woo. We've got it all. We've got it all. Today's podcast has really lifted my spirits. I feel like doing this podcast is building my confidence in some sort of crazy way. And if you are struggling and want to have more confidence, feel free to reach out to a therapist. Make sure you follow all of our tips that were mentioned in the podcast because, as I always say, you can rise to the top, stay at the top, and dream bigger than you've ever dreamed before.
And smell like pineapples in the process.
I'm going to wrap this podcast before Susan eats a whole bag of pineapple gummies. Yay!
Oh, my God.
We thank you for listening and hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, please share this show with friends and family and subscribe to our YouTube channel. This way, you'll never miss weekly drops. Stay strong, dream big, and floss your teeth.